Hello, my name is Janice Doherty. It's 10 o'clock on a Monday night, and at this very time last week, my husband and I were in a courtroom. An awful lot of cases don't happen at night. In fact, I'm not sure you ever get a case that happens at night, but our one did, because it was entirely illegal. During that farce of a court hearing, we were informed, well, in fact, we just listened constantly to lie after lie after lie. So many that we gave up writing them down, quite frankly. But one of the things that we did hear that was true is how much our children are suffering in care. It's wonderful to know that social workers delight in telling you how much pain your children are suffering. Apparently, our disabled son wakes up at night screaming. He's constantly wetting himself. The baby hasn't stopped crying at all. We had to listen to how much the children were suffering. And at 10:30 discovered that we weren't going to be able to see them for anything more than 1 hour a week until after they've disposed of us, in which case nobody will probably ever see them again. The following day was the day where we were allowed to see our children, so having got home at midnight, we just lost an illegal court hearing that took place in the dark. We couldn't sleep, and we had to get up early the next morning and drive an hour to go and see our children, knowing that this could very well be the last time we saw them. We weren't even allowed to see all 4 of them together. We saw Charlotte and Sebastian for an hour, and when we went into the room and we all hugged, the social worker, Gabriel McDade, told us off because you don't hug your children apparently. What you have to do is have fun with them, play with them, tell them that everything's great and that it's just as it should be. You're not allowed to hug your children, you're not allowed to tell them you miss them. No, that's not allowed. You have to tell them this is great, this is really good for them. The fact they're being split apart, the fact that they're miserable, the fact that they've just been taken away from their family before Christmas, and they don't know what's happening, and you don't know what's happening, other than this is just wicked corruption at the behest of paedophiles. And you've got to tell your kids, oh, hey, everything's fine, have a good time, let's go and, play with a jigsaw, why not? So, having been told off for hugging our children, we had to try and put on a superficial act in front of these people who kept telling us off for not making it cheerful and sat there watching us for the full hour. Then our 2 children were removed from the room and we were allowed to see our other 2 children. Our oldest Alexandra and our youngest Christian. Christian came into the room crying. He saw me and he stopped and he sat on my knee. The entire time he just sat there hugging into me for the entire hour. I've never seen Christian subdued before. He's so full of fun. He's so full of mischief. I've never seen him subdued. And he just sat there. And just to show how ridiculous the term care is, our son was grubby. He hadn't been cleaned. He was covered in a rash all over his face, his hands, his neck. He's never been ill ever before. He's never had a rash in his life. And there he was, having been taken away from us. He was filthy. He was dirty. His shoes were about 4 sizes too big. But he's better off in care, of course, isn't he? Because, don't want him to be with loving parents. Not when they're bad people who report crime. Can't have that. Our oldest daughter said that when she was removed, obviously we saw this, but she spoke about it, that the police officer carried her down the stairs with her arm twisted up her back. Because of course, when you're rescuing children from bad parents, the thing to do is to grab them and hurt them. Who are they kidding? Who are they kidding that this is for the benefit of the children? They don't even bother pretending. And then at the end of the hour, when we had to leave, and the baby was taken from me, he started to cry again. And I could hear him cry all the way down the stairs. And this whole setup, because the people at the top, these organisations of these governments are either involved in or are covering up paedophilia, means our children are suffering desperately. We are suffering desperately. And it's all to cover up absolute evil. Please pass these videos on. Tell everybody you know about them. If they get us to a second court hearing, then no member of my family will be seen again. They'll be locked up. They'll find some reason, some illegal reason. Everything's been illegal so far. We're not following the law in the slightest. Everything is to destroy us, dispose of us. Because we know what they are, we know what they do, and we don't like it.